The lonely traveler's airvolve space around the small planet was silent. No ships, no noise. Just a cold emptiness. A small, old spacecraft moved slowly through the dark sky and landed near a strange-looking building. The name on the building flickered in neon lights. Stellar Rest Motel. Inside the cockpit of the ship, a tired human traveler sat quietly. His face looked rough, like he had seen many worlds and too many wars. His name was never spoken out loud. He stepped out of his ship, boots crunching on the dusty ground. The air smelled strange, like old metal and oil. The sky above was dark purple, and two moons hung low, giving an eerie light. The motel looked almost dead. No sound, no movement. But the traveler was hungry and tired. He needed a place to rest. He walked to the entrance. The door opened with a soft hiss. Inside, the lobby was empty. The floor was dusty. A broken plant sat in the corner. Lights flickered on the ceiling. The place felt forgotten. Behind the front desk was not a person, but a robot. The robot was old and rusty. Its single, glowing eye blinked slowly. It smiled, but the smile looked forced. The robot spoke in a flat voice. "Welcome to Stellar Rest Motel. Traveler, do you require a room?" The traveler nodded. "Yeah, just for one night. I'm tired." The robot handed him a metal keycard. "Room 7, second floor, end of hall," it said. Then it added, "Breakfast can be delivered to your room, if you wish." The traveler thought for a moment. "Yes, breakfast, please." "Very well," the robot replied. Its eye blinked again, and then it froze for a second, as if confused or glitching. Its head twitched, and then it returned to normal. The traveler noticed this but said nothing. He took the keycard and climbed the old metal stairs. The hallway was dark, and some lights didn't work. The walls had scratches and strange symbols. As he walked toward room 7, he felt something odd, like he was being watched. A chill ran down his spine. When he reached room 7, he opened the door carefully. The room was small and plain. One bed, one table, a small screen on the wall, and an old chair. The blanket on the bed looked clean but worn. There was a strange buzzing sound from the ceiling, but nothing he could see. He placed his bag on the chair and sat on the bed. He looked around the room carefully. The air smelled musty, but it was better than sleeping in his ship. He was too tired to care, but as he sat there, he noticed something strange again. The wall near the bed had a small crack, and through it, he could hear whispers, very soft, but definitely voices. He couldn't understand the words, but the tone felt cold and strange, almost like someone was talking about him. He stood up and walked to the crack. He pressed his ear to the wall. The whispers stopped. Silence. Suddenly, the light in his room flickered, and the screen on the wall turned on by itself. There was no signal, just static. Then, for a moment, he thought he saw a shadow on the screen, a shape like a tall figure, with glowing eyes. But when he blinked, it was gone. The traveler sat back on the bed, now alert. His instincts told him something was wrong with this place. It wasn't just an old motel. There was something hidden here, but he needed rest. He lay down, keeping one eye on the door. Before falling asleep, he checked the food menu on the table. The first item read, "Special breakfast, delivered fresh by our finest staff." He smiled weakly. "Let's see what this special breakfast is tomorrow." Then, before sleep took him, he whispered to himself, "This place feels wrong, but I'll deal with it in the morning." In the shadows outside his room, soft footsteps could be heard. Someone, or something, was already waiting for morning. The breakfast delivery traveler woke slowly. His body felt heavy, as if something in the air pressed down on him. The dim purple light from the twin moons slipped through the small window of room 7. The screen on the wall was still showing static, hissing softly. Suddenly, a knock at the door. It was soft, but deliberate. He sat up quickly. The clock next to the bed blinked to strange time letters, not numbers, as if the device was malfunctioning. That alone made him uneasy. Another knock. He moved carefully to the door. Before he could ask, "Who is it?" a soft voice came from the other side. "Good morning. I have your breakfast." The voice was melodic, almost hypnotic, not robotic. Definitely not the rusty AI receptionist. His heart skipped a beat. He opened the door slowly, and there she stood, a stunning alien girl, tall and graceful, her glowing skin a pale silver blue, hair shimmering like flowing stars. Her eyes were bright, deep pools of violet, and they looked straight at him, almost through him. She held a tray with covered dishes. Her smile was soft, but her eyes held a shadow of something else, fear, sadness, a secret. The traveler tried to speak, but hesitated. She stepped forward and whispered, "You must eat carefully today." He frowned. "Carefully? What do you mean?" But she only smiled again, gently placing the tray on the small table in his room. Then, very quietly, she leaned close and said something under her breath, something he could barely hear. "Not everything here is what it seems. You shouldn't have come." Before he could ask more, she straightened, turned, and walked out swiftly, her bare feet making no sound on the old metal floor. The traveler stood frozen for a moment, then turned toward the tray. His stomach growled. He hadn't eaten in almost a day, but now a deep unease filled him. He lifted the silver cover from the tray. The food was strange. At first glance, it looked normal: eggs, bread, a drink. But when he leaned closer, the eggs shimmered slightly, as if liquid silver moved inside them. The bread smelled faintly sweet, but also metallic. The drink was a glowing blue liquid that pulsed softly like it was alive. Then, tucked under the plate, he saw a small slip of paper, a handwritten note. It read, "They are watching. This place feeds on travelers like you. Trust no one. Escape." Before nightfall, his pulse quickened. The alien girl must have written this. Suddenly, the screen on the wall changed from static to an image. The alien girl standing at the end of the hallway, staring at his door. Then, a figure appeared behind her, a tall shadow with glowing red eyes. She didn't seem to notice it, but he could see it clearly on the screen. Then, the image cut back to static. He rushed to the door and opened it quickly. The hallway was empty, silent, cold. He felt a deep chill, not just from the cold metal walls, but from the feeling that something terrible was hidden in this place. And now he was trapped inside it. In that moment, he made a decision. He would find this alien girl and demand answers. But before he could step outside, the lights in the hallway flickered and went completely dark. The motel fell into total silence. Except from far down the hall, a soft sound began, a slow, rhythmic click, 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 as if sharp claws tapped the floor. Something was coming. Hidden warnings. Traveler stood at the door, frozen. That strange sound was still there. Click, 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 slow and careful, as if whatever was coming did not want to be heard, but wanted to be felt. Suddenly, all lights in the hallway flickered once, then returned, but very dim. He could now see shadows at the far end of the corridor. The tray of strange breakfast still sat untouched behind him, and the alien girl's warning echoed in his mind. Not everything here is what it seems. He stepped back into his room and quietly closed the door, locking it fast. He moved to the window. Outside, he saw nothing but the dark purple sky and empty land. No other guests, no ships, just his ship sitting alone, far away. His instinct screamed he must leave now. But before he could act, a strange noise came from inside the room itself. Behind the small table was a ventilation grate, and from inside the grate, a voice whispered, soft, urgent, trembling, "Human, can you hear me?" He bent down, heart racing. "Who's there?" The voice came again, this time clearer and unmistakably female. "It's me, the one who brought your food. I can speak only through these vents now. Listen carefully." His mind raced. Was this a trap? But curiosity kept him still. The voice continued, "This motel is alive. It eats the life energy of travelers. No one who stays survives. Even I am trapped here." The traveler felt cold sweat on his forehead. "Why help me?" he whispered back. Her answer was immediate. "Because I used to be like you." That sentence hit him hard. What did she mean? Before he could ask, she added quickly, "There are hidden cameras everywhere. Even your food, if you eat it, it will weaken you. You must act before sunset or it will be too late. Do you understand?" He nodded, even though she couldn't see him. His voice was low but firm. "I understand. What do I do now?" The girl whispered back, Look under your bed. You will find an old hatch. It leads to a secret path. It's dangerous, but it's your only chance." Then the vent went silent. No sound, no breath, as if the voice had never spoken. The traveler stood quickly and dropped to his knees. He lifted the thin blanket and checked under the bed. At first, he saw nothing but dust and darkness. But then, there it was, a small square panel, its edges marked with scratches as if many hands had once tried to open it and failed. But it was unlocked. He grabbed the handle and pulled it open carefully. A dark tunnel stretched below, cold air rising from its depths. Suddenly, another knock at the door. He froze. A soft voice, sweet, polite, but wrong, came from outside. "Good morning, sir. Room service again. May I come in?" His breath caught. That was not the alien girl's voice. It was something else. A cold, robotic voice pretending to sound human. The traveler had no time. He slipped into the hatch and quietly closed it above him, leaving the strange, haunted room behind. As he crawled through the narrow, dark tunnel, he realized this was no ordinary motel. It was a trap, a cage, and the stunning alien girl was not just a worker here, she was a prisoner too. But if she had once been like him, what had this place turned her into? Nightfall and Secret's tunnel was dark. Cold air rushed past the traveler's face as he crawled forward. The walls were made of rough metal, scratched and dented. Somewhere above him, he could still hear soft knocking on his room door, then silence, then a strange mechanical hum. He kept crawling. The tunnel stretched longer than he expected. Small lights flickered along the floor, guiding him forward. Then, ahead, he saw a dim glow and voices. He moved carefully until the tunnel opened into a small hidden room beneath the motel. The walls of this secret space were covered in old screens, wires, and broken machines. In the center of the room was a large table, and scattered across it were items that made his blood run cold. Traveler ID cards, weapons from different worlds, jewelry, watches, and small personal belongings. All of them abandoned. He realized these were from other travelers. All of them gone. None had escaped. Suddenly, he heard movement behind a screen in the corner. He quickly hid behind a pillar and watched. The alien girl appeared. She moved quietly, looking around nervously. She was different here. Her face looked tired, her glowing skin slightly dimmer. She wore a simple robe, not the shining uniform she had when she delivered his breakfast. She spoke softly into a small device. "Control room status, stable. No travelers remaining." The traveler's heart pounded. Why was she lying? She knew he was still here. Then she turned toward the screen and paused. In a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "I know you're watching me." At first, he thought she was talking to someone else, but then she turned her gaze directly toward his hiding place. Her glowing violet eyes met his. She had known he was there the whole time. The girl smiled faintly. Not a dangerous smile, but a sad one. She walked toward him slowly and stopped a few steps away. "You made it this far," she said gently. "Most don't." The traveler stepped out from behind the pillar, confused but alert. "Why did you help me? What is this place?" The alien girl lowered her head. "This motel is not just a building. It's a machine, an ancient thing, built by a species long gone. It keeps itself alive by feeding on visitors' energy, body, and mind." She touched one of the old traveler ID cards on the table. "I am part of this place now. But once, I was a traveler too." Her words cut deep. The traveler asked, "Why not escape?" She looked up, and for the first time, real pain showed in her eyes. "I can't. My soul is tied to this motel. I'm trapped here. But you still have a chance." She walked over to a dusty console and pressed a button. A small screen lit up, showing a path that led outside the emergency exit, hidden at the back of the motel. "Follow this route," she whispered. "But hurry. When night falls completely, the motel awakens, and it won't let you leave." The traveler nodded slowly. "Come with me," he offered. Her smile turned sad again. "I wish I could. But once night falls, you won't see me this way anymore." Before he could ask what she meant, the lights in the room flickered violently. The console sparked and died. A loud voice echoed through the hidden chamber, a deep mechanical voice that filled every corner. Escape attempt detected. Closing all exits. The alien girl stepped back quickly and grabbed his arm. Run. She whispered urgently. Run now, this is your last chance. But as they turned toward the tunnel exit, something changed. Her glowing skin flickered, then her face twisted slightly, and her eyes began to glow brighter but colder. She looked at him one last time and said in a hollow voice, "Night has begun." The truth about the alien girl traveler froze. Her words, "Night has begun," echoed in his mind. The alien girl's beautiful face had started to change. Her glowing skin dimmed and turned pale gray. Strange dark veins spread across her arms. Her once soft violet eyes became sharp and cold like a predator. But even as she transformed, part of her still looked sad. "It's not my choice," she whispered. Her voice now to voices layered together, one soft and human-like, the other dark and mechanical. Suddenly, heavy metal doors began to close all around the hidden room. Red lights flashed. The loud mechanical voice returned. Containment activated. No escape allowed. The traveler's heart pounded. He looked at her. "You helped me. Why are you changing now?" The alien girl stepped back, struggling to speak. Her hands shook as she gripped her head like she was fighting an invisible force. Finally, she spoke quickly between gasps. "I was like you, long ago. I checked into this motel, a lost traveler, hungry and tired. Just one night, I thought." Her body shuddered again, and her skin flickered between silver blue and sickly gray. "I didn't escape in time," she continued. "At night, this place claimed me. It absorbed my mind, my body. Now I can't leave. I'm part of it." Tears glistened in her glowing eyes, but they didn't fall. The tears seemed trapped too. The traveler felt a wave of fear and sadness. He stepped closer. "There must be a way. You're still fighting it. I can help you." But she shook her head. "No, it's too late for me. Every night I become something else, a servant of the motel, a hunter." Suddenly, a long crack appeared in the wall behind her, splitting open slowly from inside. A dark mist began to flow out. She looked over her shoulder quickly, fear on her face. "They're coming," she whispered. She turned back to him, grabbing his wrist tightly. "You must go through the maintenance shaft behind that console," she said, pointing. "It's not on the cameras. It will take you close to your ship." He hesitated. "Come with me. We can try together." Her hand trembled. "If I come with you, I'll turn completely. I'll become their weapon." "I don't want that." Her voice cracked. "You must go alone. Please, promise me one thing." The traveler looked into her fading, glowing eyes. "What?" "Destroy this place," she said. "Burn it. End it so no more travelers suffer my fate." Before he could respond, the dark mist rushed into the room, wrapping around her. Her face twisted again, the sadness disappearing, replaced by a blank, cold stare. Her voice changed completely, now robotic, cold, and empty. "Human, return to your room. Breakfast is waiting." She raised her hand toward him. Her fingers were no longer soft, but sharp and clawed. She stepped forward slowly, blocking his path. The traveler backed away quickly. His mind raced, but he remembered what she had said. The maintenance shaft behind the console. Without another thought, he dashed to the console, pushed it aside, and found the small hatch behind it. He pulled it open and jumped inside, just as the alien girl lunged forward. As he crawled into the tight passage, he heard her voice behind him. "Calm but haunting, you can't run forever. Night belongs to the motel." The passage was dark, cold, and full of dust, but ahead, he saw a faint light. He whispered to himself, "Hang on. I will end this, I promise." The motel's dark plant traveler crawled fast through the narrow maintenance shaft, his hands scraping against cold metal. The air smelled strange, like burnt circuits and old dust. Behind him, he could still hear echoes of the alien girl's cold voice. "You can't run forever." But ahead, a soft light grew brighter. Finally, the tunnel opened into another hidden chamber, this one much larger and stranger than anything he had seen in the motel. In the center of the room was a huge machine, its heart glowing red. Thick cables ran from the machine into the ceiling, into the walls, feeding the entire motel. Around the machine floated dozens of glass tanks, and inside the tanks were travelers, humans, aliens, all frozen, their bodies perfectly still, but their eyes open wide with terror. It hit him like a punch to the chest. This was the motel's secret. The entire building was alive because of this machine, feeding on the life energy of these trapped travelers. The alien girl had spoken the truth. The traveler stepped closer to one of the tanks. Inside was a human man, his face pale, lips blue. His body didn't move, but his eyes seemed to beg for help. On the tank's surface was a label, Energy Harvest, active. His stomach twisted. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed through the chamber, but this time, it wasn't the alien girl. It was the motel itself. A cold, smooth mechanical voice surrounded him from all sides. Welcome, new subject. You have seen the truth. This is your fate too. He turned fast, searching for exits, but there were none. The machine pulsed again, and from hidden doors around the chamber, robotic arms slid out, long and sharp, reaching for him. But he also noticed something else, a control panel at the base of the machine. On the screen flashed a warning. Emergency shutdown possible, requires dual activation. Dual activation? He frowned. What did that mean? Then a voice whispered from the shadows. Her voice. Traveler, I can help, but I must link to the machine. If I do this, I won't survive. It was her. The alien girl appeared from behind the machine, but now her face was softer again, half human, half changed. She was fighting back against whatever held her. Her eyes met his. This is your chance. I will activate from this side. You activate from there. He hesitated. You'll die, won't you? She smiled faintly. I already did, a long time ago. The robotic arms moved closer. Red lights flashed. The machine began to hum louder. There was no time left. The traveler nodded once. He had no choice. Together, they moved. She pressed her side of the panel with her glowing hand. At the same moment, he slammed his fist onto the other control. The machine screamed. A loud, terrible sound filled the chamber as sparks flew everywhere. The tanks around them flickered. And then one by one, they shattered. The frozen travelers inside collapsed to the floor, weak but alive. The alien girl's body glowed brightly, then slowly began to fade into light itself. Her last words echoed softly before she disappeared completely. Thank you for setting me free. The machine's red glow dimmed, then died. The motel was finally quiet. But above him, far away in the main building, he could hear a final announcement in that same cold voice. System failure detected. Initiating self-destruct. The traveler's eyes widened. It wasn't over yet. Asterisk. Escape and freedom alarms blared all around the traveler as red warning lights flashed across the walls. Self-destruct sequence. 3 minutes. The cold voice repeated again and again. The huge machine at the center of the chamber was silent, now dead, but above it, cracks appeared in the ceiling. The entire structure began to shake. The traveler looked around. The alien girl was gone. Truly gone this time. No glowing light, no voice from the vents. Just silence where she used to be. But her last act had saved many. The frozen travelers lying around him were slowly waking up, groaning, confused, weak. There was no time to explain. The traveler shouted, "Get up. We must go. This place is going to explode." One by one, the survivors began to rise, some limping, some barely able to stand. Together, they moved toward the only exit, a narrow maintenance tunnel leading upward. As they climbed, dust and debris rained down from above. The motel was falling apart around them. 2 minutes, the voice said. When they reached the surface, the scene outside was terrifying. The once quiet courtyard of the motel was now full of cracks. Fire erupted from under the ground, and the motel building itself was breaking apart, its walls folding inward as if being sucked into the ground. The traveler's ship sat far across the yard, still intact. He turned to the others. That ship is our only chance. Move. They ran together, dodging falling metal beams and flames. Behind them, strange shapes crawled out of the motel, twisted, mechanical creatures that had once been part of the walls and floors, now free and furious. But they were too late. The traveler and the survivors reached the ship just as the countdown hit 30 seconds. He quickly powered the engines. The ship groaned but answered. Everyone hold on. He yelled. The ship lifted off shakily, rising into the dark purple sky. Below them, the motel let out a deep, unnatural howl, almost like a living thing screaming in rage. Then the entire building collapsed inward, disappearing into a blinding explosion of light and dust. Silence returned. In the cockpit, the traveler sat back, breathing hard. The survivors sat quietly behind him, still in shock. But as he piloted the ship into the sky, his eyes went to the empty co-pilot's seat beside him. He whispered softly, "This is for you. Thank you." Suddenly, as the ship passed the edge of the planet's atmosphere, a soft glow appeared outside the window, a shimmering, gentle light, the same glow as her skin. For a brief second, he thought he saw her smiling before the light faded into the stars. Freedom. He smiled. But as he set the ship on course for the nearest human colony, he noticed something strange on his wrist, a small mark, a faint symbol he didn't remember receiving, glowing faintly violet, the same glow as her eyes.